What's going on, everyone? So, what I wanted to do right now is just touch base on where I'm at with the 45cc that I pulled out of the ROVAN XLT 450. So, what I started doing is something that I've never done before, just wanted to give it a try. And I'm actually attempting to port match the motor myself. Um, I'm not an expert on it. I don't claim to be an expert on it. I've done a little research on it, and I feel comfortable enough that me, a guy just messing around in his garage, passing time, that I can do it and still have the motor run. At least I don't know if I'll get any improvement out of it. Just something that to pass the time for me, I guess. So I'll show you what I have so far, and I only did one side, so kind of compare what it looks like before. And I got a new pipe too that I want to talk about. So let's not waste any more time and let's look what we have here. So what I'm going to show now, this is actually the crankcase from the 45. So right here, this is the bottom end basically, and this is the side I have touched so far, and this is stock, factory stock. So what you can see here is how much thinner I made this than on this side, and I've also polished it, and then I polished the inside too. See that? And then see the difference? So apparently polishing it creates less turbulence in the airflow or something like that. I don't know the exact theory behind it, but it just makes everything flow better in the motor. And now if we look on this side, this is the side that I port matched, and this is factory stock. So what I did is up in here, I just took a little material out, and I'm just making these ports match here so that when the air fuel mixture gonna enter the combustion chamber, it's less restriction. Now, like I said, I'm not an expert on this. I have no idea if anything of what I'm doing right here is going to do anything, but we're trying. See here, you can really see how much I did compared to this. Now, I didn't go too far into the combustion chamber itself, being, the cylinder, but just enough where I feel like that's going to make a world of a difference with just getting airflow within this motor. Now, what I see here is right in here, the actual cylinder walls, they're coated with I don't know what they're coated with, but they're coated with some kind of substance that makes them a mirrored finish, and when you're doing this, you do not want to touch that because you'll never make it right and you just ruin the whole cylinder. But just staying within these ports here, you should be okay by the research I did. I haven't done anything with the exhaust or the intake yet, but from what I've read, if you're going to do anything with your exhaust, stay in the upper half and on the sides, because if you look, when your piston's at bottom dead center, it's level with the bottom of the exhaust port. So just keep that in mind if you're ever going to try this. And then when your piston's at top dead center, the bottom portion of the piston is level with the top. Apparently, I don't know very much. So that when it comes up, it draws air and fuel in to the bottom of the motor. So apparently, you want to stay in the lower portion of this if you're going to port this out. But I don't think I'm going to touch the intake or the exhaust ports on this yet. Like I said, I really don't know what I'm doing. But what I am going to match is in here. Now you can see how thin this actually is. This is the pipe, the ROVAN pipe for the 71cc motor. This is the SLT LT model, they call it. So this is what I bought to try and remedy my heat issues with that stock pipe. Now you can see that this is probably, let me get my mic gauge. I'll do this live for you guys. Alright, we'll get this in millimeters. So we're going to measure the inside here. I don't know if 1155 is what that says. And then we'll measure the exhaust on this. 13 even. So we got almost, 3 millimeter difference between, well, 2 millimeter difference, I should say. My math is wrong. All right, we got 13 here. And 11.5 on the pipe. So I'm gonna have to take, a couple millimeters out of here. Let's measure it this way. 27, 22. So yeah, we're going to have to open this up a little bit here on the outside of this and inside of here and make it work, because that's part of the issue with the stock pipe that I had. 1 second. If you could see, this is the stock pipe. Now look, the dark area, that dark area, that's actually from the exhaust port on the motor and leave an oil deposit on this. That's how much smaller this port is. And it's the same exact flange on this. So this flange on this exhaust is significantly smaller than the exhaust port on the motor. Now, I don't know why that's like that, but it's something that, if you're buying a lower end ROVAN pipe, you're just going to have to deal with and fix it yourself. The Bart pipes, they all come port match, so something else. Now, when I tore this motor down, you're going to see I have everything expertly cataloged in these Ziploc bags. If you don't really understand what's going on, you're trying this for the first time, it's a good idea, because you go, oh, where's my head studs? Right here. Oh, what's this? Clutch housing bolts. Right here. Everything is categorized so you know where it goes back, because someone like me who's just doing this in their spare time, has a family and a job, full-time job, who's just messing around with this in his free time, this is going to take a while. So, like I said, I just kind of catalog everything in these Ziploc bags and should be good to go. So we're back. So real quick, what I wanted to talk about here is, with the research I did, apparently you want to try and get your piston a little bit lighter when you're doing this. So what I have is, this is the dual ring piston that came out of my motor, and I'm going to weigh it real quick. 45.5 grams. That's just the piston, no rings. So what I did is I bought the ROVAN part number 670086. This is the single ring piston for the 45, because my theory is the extra friction from the second ring on this dual ring piston is causing a lot of my heat problems. So this is the single ring piston. Now we're going to weigh this. First one was 45.5 grams. 45.7 grams. Almost 45.8 grams. So this piston is in fact a little bit lighter, most likely from milling out or machining the for the second ring. So what I'm going to do is probably use this piston anyways, because if you look, the porting on this piston is actually almost a little bit better too on the dual ring piston. So what you can do is, I was talking with a very well-known engine builder. They actually told me that you can take one ring off of the piston and just run this dual ring piston with one ring, which is what I'm going to do in this, because like I said, it already starts out a little bit lighter than this the single ring piston does. And I mean, it's polished. Like I said, I think the porting looks better on this. So this is what I'm going to use with one ring. Dual ring piston, one ring. And other than that, that's about all I have for today. Just wanted to give ramble on camera about what I have going on in my life. But without anything else, I'll catch you guys later.